I just made this viral Instagram animation, and in this video I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did it and how you can use it in your editing without spending hours looking for overlays. Now, some of the problems that I came across when I first made this was I didn't know where to get a clean Instagram UI. I was confused about what parts to mask out and separate. I was unsure how to approach the masking to make it look nice and clean. And after I did end up getting over that, I started overthinking the cameras, the nulls, the 3D setup, and the animation just looked fake and it's super messy when I moved it all around. But we ended up figuring all this out, and now I've got this super clean Instagram animation that you'll be able to use in your own edits. Now, before I start, if you want to use this Instagram animation, I'm sharing it in my free community. Just click the link in the description to join. Now, the first thing that I did was, instead of looking for an Instagram UI and going out or making my own fake comments or my own fake hearts or my own fake Instagram UI, I actually just went and took 2 screenshots from my own Instagram. This way, it's just a lot easier. All you've got to do is mask. It looks real because it's actually coming from Instagram, and it just makes the whole process a lot easier. Now, I know a lot of you don't actually have your own Instagram, or you don't have an Instagram post that has a decent amount of likes or comments that can actually make the animation look realistic and half decent. And so I am going to open up my Instagram to you. You can go take screenshots of my Instagram if you want. Just make sure you animate me out, and obviously take out my name and my profile photo, because you don't want to be using my Instagram in your edits, but feel free to use the UI of my Instagram. So the things like these comments, these likes, you can use all them. Just take out my profile photo, take out my name so that people don't confuse us. Now, the first thing you do after you get screenshots is you want to import them into After Effects, and then you want to mask them out. Now, we'll start off with this image here because it's got a top and it's got a bottom. The reason I've gotten 2 is because this first image actually didn't have my profile photo or my name, but this second image here has my profile photo and it has my name, so it's just gonna make it, you know, a lot easier to go through and create a full UI animation with those 2. So we'll start with this first post here. Now, instead of going through and, you know, just taking out me, what we're going to do is separate this into a bottom and a top. So I'm going to just position this in a way where I can just see the bottom. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so I've got a full picture going on here. I'm going to click on the masking tool up here, line it up. I'm just going to mask out all of this top piece. Then I'm going to invert it, and what I'll be left with is just this singular bottom piece. Now I'm going to duplicate this, delete the mask, and I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to do it with just the top piece. So come in, juggle that, invert it, and cool. Just like that, we're left with the top, and we are left with a bottom of a whole UI animation. Now, I wanted my name on the post, so what I ended up doing was just screenshotting one of my posts with my name, and it's not actually a very hard thing to go ahead and fix. What I'm going to do is just mask out my name and my profile photo, and you see it does look a little bit dodge, I will admit. We're just going to fix our name to start off with, so let's just adjust this mask. I'm going to bring it in so it's just my name. Now, the easiest way to get rid of this is, my name is white, the song is white, the dots are white, and the background is obviously not white. So we can add an effect called color key. Now, what color key does is take away any color that is the one you selected. So obviously black is the opposite of white. So if I select black, turn the color tolerance all the way up, what ends up happening is I get this effect here. So it takes away all the black, makes it transparent, and now I can slide this up the top and it looks like it's my actual name. And so now I'm just missing my profile photo, which is an easy fix. You just duplicate all of this, get rid of the color key, and then you want to zoom in, nice and easy. Hold click on the mask tool and get the circle, and then just draw a circle mask on top of your profile photo. Just make a couple of adjustments to make it look nice and clean. And you don't have to be very perfect with this. Not many people are going to notice any of the small details. And what you end up getting left with is a nice and very clean Instagram UI. And you know, there's a couple of lines sitting here and there that can be adjusted with the mask, but You know, nothing that we're too upset about. If anything, this is nice and clean. Now, when we bring in any sort of, you know, any sort of video, any sort of clip at all, it'll literally look like it's on our Instagram, which I think is pretty cool in my opinion. So, where do you go from here? You've imported in the Instagram post, you've masked out to get the main image. Now you want to be able to actually animate it. And so what I like to do from there is separate the main UI elements. So we go through, I pre-compose each one of these for its own separate purpose. I'll do these two together because they work together. And what we get left with right here inside of this pre-comp is just the bottom part, which is exactly what we want. Now, as we go through, we want to figure out how many things we're going to mask. So me personally, I'm going to mask 1, the view sites, 2, the boost post, 3, these buttons here, and then 4, the comments, and then 5, my actual phone's animation. So I'm going to go make sure I have 5 different things. Then I'm going to go through with the masking tool on rectangle. I'm just going to go through and mask each one individually. That was a very bad mask, which is fine because you can always go back through and you can always drag it to make it a little bit bigger. Awesome. 3. We'll go right. Actually, with 3, what we'll do is we'll grab that little line that's with it as well. Awesome. Yep, just go through nice and easy. Mask everything out. Here we want comments. Awesome. And here we want that. Awesome. Very nice. And what you can do is you can have a little base layer down here. That's just the straight mask. So that way when you delete all this, you do have just a base layer, but we won't worry about that. So at the start, what we've got here, let me just get rid of this. So we've got the insights, we've got the boost post, we've got the likes, comments, reposts, shares, saves. Here, we've got just the comments, and then here we have got just the buttons. Now as a base layer, what I should have said from the start is that yes, you should have a base layer when you duplicate whatever the number is, add 1 to it so that you can keep a little base layer going on here. You want to have that background, that gray background. Another way around this actually is because, for example, if we animate this, the boost post stays behind it. You know, it doesn't look very clean. What you can do is you can actually create a shape layer. So we grab this tool here, make sure you have another layer selected, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw a square. It's going to be white, that's fine. What we want to do from there is go to your white shape, click on the fill layer, click on the little dropper tool, drag it out of the way, click on the dropper tool, and then click on the Instagram UI as gray. It'll be OD1015 if no one wants to go ahead with that dropper bullcrap. And then you can drag this to the bottom, and what you end up with is this nice looking UI animation. Get rid of this, and now when you adjust things to move them out of the way, it stays gray, which is fantastic. Now everything is separate and it is animation, so you can animate each individual part. We'll do it again with the top part because the top part will be nice and easy. So we've got this as our base layer, which we're not going to leave as a base layer, and then I'm going to separate my charge, which is 9%, atrocious, and then the posts. So let's do that. We'll go here, we'll do the posts, delete this first mask, go here, and we just want my power and my time. Awesome. Actually, I will keep a base there. Yeah, we make mistakes as we go. It's easy, just go back and fix them up again. Keep a base layer, mask out the posts, mask out the power, and then using this as a bottom reference, we'll grab the shape tool, we'll make a shape. Look at that, it's already in our correct color. We'll drag that underneath our 2 masks, delete the base layer, and then what we've got is something that is animationable, it's draggable, we can move it around. Alright, so this is very cool. Now, if you're wondering what you can do with these animations after you separate them, is what I like to do is, as I made the animation come down, I would highlight all of them, I would press P, and then I would go over to when I want them to come in. So let's just say 30 frames, and I would add another keyframe. Now at this start keyframe, I wouldn't pull them all up like this because I want them to come in like an actual UI animation. Instead, I would animate each one so that it's just out of view, and each one of these has a different speed to it now. And so as they come in, you see they kind of slide over each other very nicely. And even though the masks were very rough, once you actually animate this and you go through and you mess with the keyframes, it does look very clean. Same with all of this here. If I, for example, bring this back down. If I, for example, let's say we want to do another 30 frame animation, highlight all of this, press on P, add a keyframe, move over 30 frames, add another keyframe, and then go through and drag each one of these down until it's just out of reach. And yep, the big one. Yep, awesome. What we get is this, which looks very clean. Even now without the animation, it looks very clean. And so that what happens when we come back to Instagram out here, you see that animation come in. It looks very nice. Obviously, when you actually go through the keyframes, it'll look even better, but that looks very nice. And you can do it with this part here as well. But yeah, that is basically the animation part of the Instagram. Just before I keep going and let you in on a bit of a secret sauce, I do just want to say I currently have limited spots open to work with me one-on-one to discover your own style and just to get faster, cleaner After Effects edits. If you're curious, there's a link to apply in the description, but unfortunately it is first come, first serve. So you just have to get in there quick because I'm running out of spots very quickly. Now, before I keep going, I want to say you have to manually animate each layer for the full control. If you want to make the best animation you can, having the most control is key. Now, if you want to get into the 3D layer side of things, the best way to go about that is to first make your animation, then pre-compose everything, turn on the 3D layer, add in a camera, and then from there, you can now start animating a 3D After Effects layer. And you can also come in here and you have full control over all of this. So you see everything comes together when you first make the animation. And now you can go through with the 3D animations as well on the Instagram. It was how I made 2 of my edits with the Instagram animation. It just looks so clean, it looks so good. It just upgrades your entire edit basically. Alright, so we have now come to the end. You have a fully editable Instagram interface animation. If you didn't want to make it, you can get it from my free community down below. You've got clean, believable movement. It'll fit any edit. You've got no overlays, no plugins, no complicated setup. It was all just nice, easy breezy masks. You can get a reusable template for the future edits, and it's just so easy to drop into any project. It can just make any project or style look next level. So yeah, use your own UI to avoid unnecessary complexity. Just mask the separates, only what you need to animate. Simple manual animation just beats the overbuilt setups. And the 3D, it's optional, it's not required. Just make it clean, structure makes the animations reusable. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. I'll be posting more often now for more of these sorts of videos to help you all build up your editing. And like I said, if you don't want to follow this tutorial, it's in my free community. And if you want a bit more help to get, discover your own style, work with me one-on-one, there's a link below for that as well. And I hope you all have a great day, and I hope this tutorial could help you, get better at editing just a little bit more.